All right, practice test 3. This practice test is formatted exactly like your test. Now, you know, because we've been down this road before, that it might be in a different order, but this is exactly what your test is going to look like. So, practice test 3. Number 1. Find the inverse. Okay, find the inverse. All right, there's 2 of them. Notice.
Hey Jacob.
That's Jacob, by the way.
Notice that the answer blanks are written there. Oh, please don't feel the need to walk forward. So see the answer blanks, guys? See them? That's what it's going to look on your test. So you don't need to worry about writing the notation. It's already written there. Now we're going to find the inverse. Who remembers? This is an easy one. Who remembers how to do this? What do we do?
Make f of x, y, and then flip
So
x.
this is y, right?
And then swap the x and
So
y.
then x equals 4y plus 7. Right? Now what? We're doing y by itself. So we're going to subtract the 7. Now what? Divide by 4. So in the answer blank where it says f inverse equals, you're going to write x minus 7 over 4. Easy. Now, this one is the one we had a quiz over. It's a little bit more involved. But we practiced, so we know what to do. What is the first thing we do?
Flip the x and the y.
Same thing we did over there. That doesn't, when you find an inverse, switch the x and the y. All the x's and all the y's. Okay? Now what? Well, over here, oh, we didn't have to do it over here. What do we have to do here? We have to multiply this over to here, right? So we're going to bring that denominator over,
Distribute the x.
then distribute. And notice, I am not skipping steps. I'm writing it all down because if I stay organized, I stand a better chance of getting it right. Now, I want to factor out a y, but I can't do it until I do what? What has to happen?
Swap, put the y's together.
They gotta be on the same side. So these 2 guys have to change places. So 3xy minus 2y minus 4x minus 1. Now can I factor out the y? Yes. So I take out the y, I'm going to do 3x minus 2. And then what's my last step?
Divide the
To
parentheses.
divide by this parentheses so that y is by itself. So g inverse is negative 4x minus 1 over 3x minus 2. That's what goes in the answer blank. It's written right there. All right? Now, remember, this is our 3rd practice test. So besides all the ones we did in the notes, we have now gone through these 3 times, so you have plenty of practice problems. Go back, copy them on another sheet of paper, redo them. Number 2. Given f of x as sketched, So this picture which is the little triangle and little trapezoid. Okay, so given that picture, there's only two questions here. Sometimes there's more than that, but this time there's only two. Is the inverse a function?
No.
No, why not?
Horizontal line.
Doesn't pass the horizontal line test. So it's a no. This thing doesn't pass the horizontal line test. Remember, the questions we can ask are, is the original a function? And that's the VLT, right? Is the inverse a function? That is the horizontal line test. So this particular practice says, is the inverse a function? No, because this picture does not pass the horizontal line test. Now we have to sketch it. How do we sketch it?
You find all the points and make swap the sign.
Find all the points on the original picture. And I think it's a good idea to actually label them. I'm not grading this, so if you don't do it, you don't do it. But I think it's a good idea to actually label all the points. Once you have them all labeled, then it's easy to just
Swap points.
flip them.
Yeah, that's.
So this becomes 0, -3, -1, -2, -1, -1, and 0, 0. So there's the first part of the picture. 1, 1, and 0, 2. That is a picture of the inverse. Again, some of you just don't want to write anything down. Write it down. You can't miss this if you write those points down and then simply graph the inverses. What's the matter?
Wait, never mind.
All right. Create your own function that is not one-to-one. So can you draw a picture of something that is not one-to-one? Well, what does one-to-one mean?
Passes both.
It has to pass vertical and
Horizontal.
horizontal. So can you think of a picture that doesn't pass something?
A vertical sign.
What?
A vertical or
A
horizontal.
parabola. That does not pass the horizontal line test, so that is not one-to-one. What else?
You can also do a straight line up and down.
Oh, a
or left
vertical
and right.
line, so just a vertical line like this. Yep, it's not a function. So it's not one-to-one. Let's come up with one more picture. Can you come up with one more that is not one-to-one? There are billions. You can just make something up.
Horizontal line.
Now, a horizontal line is not one-to-one, you're right. It's a function, but it's not one-to-one. I was hoping you'd come up with something more creative. What about the sine curve?
No.
Is the sine curve one-to-one?
No.
No, because it doesn't pass the horizontal line test. What about our logarithmic curve? Is that guy one-to-one?
Yes.
Yeah, he is one-to-one, so he would not qualify. He is one-to-one. All right, so these are not one-to-one. One-to-one means you pass both tests. Okay, number 4. We're finding the ordered pair. We know that x is 3 minus 4t, and y is 6 plus t, and we will let t be -2. Jacob, you're not on your phone, are you? All right, what do we do? How do we let t be negative 2? What do we do?
Plug it in.
Just plug it in.
Oh,
So this would be 3 minus 4 times negative 2. I do the arithmetic, so that would equal. And we have grade school kids in the room. This is a little embarrassing. Seniors, what is 3 minus 4 times negative 2? 11. Negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. What's 6 plus negative 2? There it is. There's the answer to the question. All you have to do is plug in whatever value of t they give you. In this case, it's negative 2. Plug it in. What does number 5 mean? Find the direct algebraic relationship between x and y.
Eliminate T.
Eliminate t. Eliminate t. Don't get bogged down in the fancy vocabulary. We are eliminating t. So I went ahead and lined them up. There's like a 0 here. If you want to include that, you don't have to. What will I do to eliminate the t's?
multiply y by 2. Well, y
Multiply
equals 3.
the bottom one, not by 2,
Negative
by
2.
negative 2. Because don't I need them to cancel? So x equals 1 plus 6t, and negative 2y equals 0 minus 6t. Adding them together, this is an add problem, adding them together, the t's are gone. So x minus 2y equals 1. That is the direct algebraic relationship between x and y. Which is just a fancy way of saying we got rid of the t's. Okay. Would you look very carefully at figure 1 and figure 2. What changed?
Sideways flip.
Sideways flip for sure. Does everybody see that? What else changed?
Up 2.
Yeah, we're going from 1 to 2, Olivia. So we're starting with 1 and going to 2. Didn't it go up 1?
Yep.
So we're always going to be changing figure 1 into figure 2. Does that take care of it?
Yep.
I think so. I think that's it.
No, because figure 1's smaller than figure 2.
No, it's just raised up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we raised it up 1, but I think like the triangles are the same size. Okay, so what equation are we gonna write that's gonna make this happen? What do I have to put into my equation?
Negative
F of
X.
A negative x, so the negative has to go right here, right? Because it's a sideways.
Close parentheses. +1.
And close the parentheses and put +1, because this number out here raises you up and down. Everybody okay with that? All right, number 7, what's our strategy? I've given you 2 equations and you need to figure out if they're inverses or not.
Plug in a random number.
Plug in a random number. So, Olivia, what's your favorite random number? Don't make it too big.
Okay, I like 3.
3. So here are our functions. She likes 3. So we're going to start with 3, the number 3, and we're going to put it into our first function, f. So So 2 times 3 minus 5, I think she gets 1. Now what?
Plug it into the old.
Take the 1 and plug it into the G. So G of 1 will be 1 plus 5 over 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. So what's the answer to the question? Yes. Why?
Because you ended with the same.
I ended with the same number I started with. I ended with the same number I started with. On one of the practice tests we took, that didn't happen. On one of them, we like plugged 3 in and got 7, and then we plugged 7 in and got 5. This would not be inverses, right? Because you have to end with the same number you started with. We did. We ended with 3, which is the number we started with. So these are inverses. Your explanation, exactly what Scout said. I ended with the same number I started with, or something like that. All right, that takes care of all the stuff. Now we've got our word problems and our graphs. And then the test will be over. All right, so we need our word problems and our graphs. Here we go. First word problem. Oh, by the way, note the directions. Those are going to be the same as on the test. Round to the nearest hundredth, which I think we've kind of been doing, but now we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Include labels where appropriate. So what does that mean? If it's dollars, put a dollar sign. If it's inches, put in inches. Whatever the unit is on your word problem. All right, so here we go. Our paper is 12 by 20. We're cutting out corners. Here we go. Question A. What is the equation for the volume of the box? 12 minus 2x. 20 minus 2x. And x. That's it. Never changes. That's the volume of the box. Got it? Is everything okay, guys? Xavier, Keyshawn, everything okay? All right, let's stay focused, all right? We really need a good grade, some of us do. Okay. Domain. Second question says, what's the domain? And the domain is simply your limitations on x. What is your smallest x and your biggest x? Well, in every box problem, the smallest x is 0. So your calculator is already going to have that set because we've done so many problems. But what about the maximum x?
Half the small size.
In this problem, it is 6. So when I go to my calculator, x-min will be 0, which, by the way, we should all have them out now. We are all going to be typing it in. There's magic that happens when you actually press the buttons on your own calculator. So x-min is 0, x-max is 6, y-min is 0, and y-max is something that you pick. Be sure that you are typing in the new equation. I noticed in your homework, some of you were not typing in the new equation, so you were getting the answer to another problem. Make sure you type in this new equation and its graph. Now, it may take you a little bit of playing around with your window, but eventually you should get this, a mountain. And you are interested in the top of the mountain. hear Jude saying he used a Y max of 300. I actually used 500, doesn't matter, just gotta see that. Second calc maximum,
There we go.
left bound on the left side of the mountain, right bound on the right side of the mountain, and maximum. I got, I'm gonna round to the hundredth, I got 2.43, comma, 262.68. Now, listen to me. Listen to me. There are two numbers to that. So there are two potential answers. When the question says, find the maximum volume of the box, that's why. So 262.68 cubic inches. That's the maximum volume of the box. If the problem said, and it could say, how big should the corners be? Then the answer is 2.43 inches. Every time you hit max, you get two numbers. X in the box problem, X is the size of the corners, and Y is the actual volume.
I still have like a problem with like five. You gotta trace.
I don't know, that's why I look at that later. That's the office hours. All right. Number 9, here we go. Find the final cost of your restaurant meal. If the food costs $16.75, you're gonna modify that though. You have to pay a 7% tax, and that's supposed to be leave, a 15% tip. So, this would be 1 plus 0.07, 7% is 0.07, and this would be 1 plus 0.15. Sometimes these problems involve buying a shirt and it's on sale, so the sale would not be 1 plus, it would be 1 minus, right? So the numbers I'm multiplying by, these are both pluses, so I'm gonna multiply by 1.07 and 1.15. Rounding that off, it's gonna be $20.61. Is that what you got?
Yep.
Perfect. Multiply these three numbers together and you can't really miss them. When we make our adjustments to the price, we always multiply by 1 plus the percent or 1 minus the percent, depending on if we're adding on to the price or we're subtracting. Right? Okay, how about number 10? What's the strategy with number 10?
Amount times percent plus amount times percent.
Times percent. Plus amount times percent
Equals amount times
equals amount times percent. There are a lot of numbers in this problem, guys. If you have a framework like this, it's easy to keep it all straight. First parentheses in every grouping is how much, the amount. Second parentheses in every grouping is the percent. So, let's fill in what we know. 23% orange juice. 52% orange juice. And 35% orange juice. Where does the 30 ounces go? There's a 30 ounces in there. That goes next to the 52 because it says 30 ounces of this. The question is, how much of the first kind? So we'll call that X. This happens every time. You either have an opening here, or you sometimes have an opening here. If the opening is here, where it is in this problem, what goes in now?
Addition.
30 plus X, or X plus 30. What if the opening is back here?
X minus 30.
No, 30 minus X. That's why I like this order. It's gotta be number plus X, number minus X. With the addition, it won't matter. With the subtraction, it does. So if your blank is here, it's your number, which in this case is 30, plus X. If your blank is here, it's your number minus X. Then you just solve your equation, just an equation solved. So if you have a calculator, go to it. This morning we were working on these. Make sure you distribute. You're always either going to have a 30 plus X or a 30 minus X, so you're always going to have to do a distributive somewhere in the problem.
This one,
Yep,
where did that 10.5 come from?
I distributed. I just got done saying that. You have to distribute. So 30 times 0.35. I got 42.5. I didn't even need to round it off. Anybody else get that? 32.5 ounces, or 42.5 ounces. All right, so I'm going to recap a couple things. Tomorrow's the test. It's going to be a question just like this on it. After you get your framework set up and all these parentheses and fill in everything you know, the blank, the empty one that's, you don't have anything in, is either going to be here or here every time. If it's here, it's 30 plus X. If it's here, it's 30 minus X. Wherever that parentheses is, you are going to have to distribute. So if it's over here, you're going to have to distribute. And then you just... All right, last year a pre-cal book cost $123. This year it costs $134. Find the percent of increase. What's our format for that?
Difference over original.
Difference over original. So what is that, 11? Excuse me, 11 over 123? Be careful, we talked about this yesterday. When I type that in, I get 0.08943 and so on. That is not the percent. To get the percent, you have to move it 2 places. So it's 8.94%. Got it? Okay. Last page is our graphing page. So what are we gonna do here? Well, let's start by looking at what our original shape is. Ooh, it's kind of a complicated one. Alright, so let's look carefully at our original shape. Looks like the trapezoid is 3 wide and 3 tall. And the triangle is 2 wide and 2 tall. And then this other trapezoid is 3 wide but only 1. Alright, so this is my original picture. Okay, here we go. Who remembers what this looks like? What does this do? Mirrors right on the left. I am not grading anything you write down. I'm grading your picture. However, if you write down the right thing and your picture is wrong, I can give you partial credit for that. So I would suggest that you write it down. You don't have to, but I would suggest you do that. Is that the only thing happening here?
Yes.
Yep, that's it. So I'm going to draw the right side of my picture. There he is, the trapezoid. And then I'm going to turn around, I'm going to draw the same thing over here. Done. Isn't that easy? Because I know my rules. Now, look at the next one. Don't get these mixed up. The next one is different. What does this one do? The bottoms come up, so bottoms up. Now, that means in terms of my original picture, the big trapezoid is not changing. The triangle isn't changing. But the little trapezoid is now coming up. Is that good with everybody?
Yep.
No questions, we're all on board. All right, next we've got this one. All right, what's happening here? In words, what's happening? So it's gonna go upside down, and it's gonna go right one. Perfect. I'm gonna use my colored pencils on this one. I'm gonna first of all take the whole picture right one. So I'm gonna just pretend I can somehow cut it out and shift it right one. Now, I am not finished with this problem, but would everybody agree that it's right one?
Yeah.
Now I'm simply gonna take my colored pencil and I'm gonna turn it upside down. So this guy's coming up. This guy's coming down. And this guy's coming down. And that blue thing is the final answer. Okay? This next one's going to not, you don't have room for it, it's gonna run off the page. But let's go ahead and do it anyway, you can squish it over onto something. Why do I say this one's gonna go off the page? What is happening in this problem? What are these numbers here? This is gonna divide the width. This number right here, whatever that number is, that divides the width. What does this do?
It's gonna flip it sideways.
Sideways flip. Now, what that means is, I am going to, you're not gonna have room for this, but pay attention anyhow. What that means is, the thing's gonna flip sideways. So, on this side of the picture, on the left side, I'm gonna have my trapezoid, right? My tall trapezoid. How wide is he originally? How many blocks? 1, 2, 3 blocks? If I copied it right? So his new width is going to be 3 divided by 1/3. No. 3 divided by 1/3 is 3 times 3/1. You multiply by the reciprocal. Our siblings know that, right? So this trapezoid is going to come over to this side, and it's going to be 9 wide. Still 3 tall. So there he is. He got flipped over to the other side because of the negative, and then his width got divided by 3, divided by 1/3, which is timesing by 3. All right, what about this triangle? How wide is he? 2. So now he's gonna be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he is still too tall. So there's my triangle. Instead of going left 1 up 2, I'm going right 3 up 2. Then my baby trapezoid, how wide is he gonna be?
9 wide.
Exactly. Still down 1. So I know you didn't have room for that.
Well, we have one like that on our test.
I don't know, Scout, what do you think?
Well, no, I mean like where
Scout,
it's,
Scout. Let's worry about what we need to worry about, okay? And if you do, you'll just have to do your best with it, right? Okay, last one. What happens here?
Double the height.
2 things. Multiply the height
Divide the width.
and
Divide the width.
divide the width. So we're going back to our original picture. And we're gonna make everything, you can do this all at once, you can do it in 2 steps. We're gonna make everything twice as tall, but only half as wide. So we're gonna have this trapezoid, it's not moving or flipping or anything. We're gonna have this trapezoid sitting in the same spot. But it's gonna be twice as tall, which means it's going to be how tall? 6. And it's gonna be half as wide, which means it's only gonna be 1.5. So it's gonna end right there. So it's gonna be clear up here. Super skinny, only 1.5 wide, but 6 tall. Because the height got times by 2, and the width got divided by 2. All right, let's look at our little triangle right here. He right now is too wide and too tall. So what's happening to him? He's going to be 1 wide and 4 tall. And then our little baby upside down trapezoid. Right now, he is 3 wide and 1 tall. So now he's gonna be 1.5 wide and 2 tall. There he is. Okay? And that is the test we just took. So, what we're going to do now is you're going to tell me what we need to practice again. We just did every test question. Just did it. So of all those many things, Melissa Shepherd, what do we need to practice again? What will you maybe miss if we don't practice it again?
More, like figuring out the equation for
From the shape?
Mhm.
Okay, these are hard for me to come up with on the spur of the moment, but I'll do my best. Okay. And I hope that's right. I just kind of put that together. All right, so this is my original picture. And this is my new one. So who can tell me, first of all, in words, what has happened? Eddie?
Flipped it upside down.
definitely upside down. Would everybody agree with that? All right, what else has happened?
Sideways flip.
Flip sideways,
And
because it looks like the big triangle is now on the left.
Double.
and height is double.
And the height times 2.
And it went down.
Oh my gosh, and it went down 1.
So it'd be
Does
negative.
everybody get that part? Those are the changes that happened, a whole bunch of them. All right, so now we need an equation that's gonna make all that happen. So,
Negative
what do we
2.
have? 2 out in front, we're gonna have a -2, because that negative takes care of the upside down, and that 2 takes care of the height doubling. All right, then what?
Negative x.
X has to be negative, because that's how we do a sideways flip.
Close parentheses.
Close the parentheses and -1. Is closing those parentheses important?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you don't close them, then you'll go the wrong direction. Good. All right, you had your hand up. What's yours here?
Could we do the eliminate T one?
Yep, we got a couple of parametric equations. X equals 4 minus 3t and y equals 6 plus 2t. And the directions say, write the direct algebraic relationship between x and y. Which means write a single equation that has x and y, which means get rid of the t. So directions again will say, find the direct algebraic relationship between x and y. So, how are we gonna eliminate the t's?
Plug 2 enter T on X.
So multiply this one by 2, so I'm not plugging in, I'm timesing by 2. And I'm timesing this one by
Negative
3.
2. Or no,
And the
positive.
objective, of course, is that now on the t's, one will be positive and one will be -6. And when I add, they're gone, which is the objective. So 2x plus 3y
equals 10.
equals 26.
Wait,
Adding,
so those are negative.
and there it is. There's your direct algebraic relationship between x and y. Okay, now the other question on the test that will involve equations like this says, find the ordered pair when t equals 1 or something. So what do we do for that one?
Plug it into X.
Just put in 1 here, so it looks like x is 1, and then plug in 1 here, and it looks like y is 8. So there are two problems that involve parametric equations. One is the elimination thing, and one is the plug-in thing. Okay? All right? So, Grant, give me a question. What are you fuzzy on?
I'm a little fuzzy on the box ones on the maximum volume.
All right, I'm actually gonna reword that a little bit. I'm gonna say we got a piece of paper that's 11 by 17. I'm gonna cut out the corners like always. I want you to write the equation, I want you to find the domain, and I want you to tell me the size of the corners. Okay? So here we go. What's our equation if the paper is 11 by 17? V equals 11 minus 2x, 17 minus 2x, and x. What's my domain? 0.
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
How do we get 5.5?
Divide by 11.
It's half of 11, right? Half of 11. Now, I can't answer the last one until I type it in. So I'm typing in my new equation, new domain. Make any adjustments you need to till you see the mountain. Then second calc, max. Set my left bound, my right bound. Right smack dab in the middle. I got 2.18, comma, 182.97. Anybody else get that?
Yep.
Now, this time, the question was, how big of corners should you cut out? So the
2.18.
answer is 2.18 inches. If somebody's test is gonna have that question. Somebody else's test is gonna say find the volume, and that will be 182.97 cubic inches. You do nothing different in doing the problem, it's just which of those two numbers you're gonna pick.
And why would the size of the corners not be cubic?
Because we're cutting out volume is cubic. When I just cut this piece off, it's like 1 inch or 2 inches or something. It's not a quantity. All right, test tomorrow. If you're doing extended time, I want you to fill it out right now. I have to go to the funeral home tonight. I'm not gonna have time to mess with you. So if you're doing extended time, I want the form filled out right this instant. This instant. Can you do it Friday before school? We don't have office hours in classes on Friday, but you can do it. Well, you'll have to do Monday. Yeah, I hate doing Monday. I'll have to do Monday. Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Are you going to Mrs. Kaido's funeral?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, so like my grandma passed away, and so like, she like stepped in, so I like
She's an amazing woman. I know it. When I was sick, they were so good to me.